how to plan a warm-up. Hi, I'm Hayley from Parallel Coaching, and this video is going to explore warm-ups and how you can create a simple, structured approach to every warm-up that you do with your clients so that it's safe and effective, as well as being linked to the main session ahead. Now, alongside this video, there are 3 mock questions to help you test your knowledge on today's content. So all you need to do if you're on our blog is scroll down and you'll find them there, or you can click the link that is with this video and you'll go straight there. Now, let's dive into what a warm-up actually is. Now, a warm-up is really important because it prepares the mind and the body for the session that follows. And the session that follows is the main session. So see any workout as a bit of a sandwich, really. We've got both the bread at the beginning, which is your warm-up. You've got the juicy content in the middle, which is going to be your main workout. And then you've got the other bit of bread, which is the cool down. Now, these bits of bread often go unrecognized, especially when you order a sandwich. All you think about is the filling, the ham and the cheese, or the brie and cranberry, or whatever it is that you want inside your sandwich. But you don't necessarily think about the type of bread. But it isn't a sandwich unless you have some really good bread. And the same applies with a warm-up and a cool down. They are super crucial to make sure that you get the most out of the filling, which is your main session. So make sure you pay attention to how you're planning your warm-ups as a FITPRO so that your client can really get the most out of their main session. And that's what we're going to do here today. I'm going to share an acronym with you that will help you set yourself up for success and be able to basically deliver a simple and structured warm-up as a template for every client session you do. And then you can just make the relevant tweaks so that you're able to make it individual for that client and for the session they're about to do. I like to see it as kind of a cookie cutter. So if you imagine you wanted to make loads of cookies, it's all about the food today, isn't it? If you want to imagine you want to create loads of cookies or biscuits, you need to be able to then cut them out at the same pattern, don't you? So they're all going to be star shape, or they're all going to be circles or whatever, and you cut them out with your cookie cutter. But how you then decorate that cookie is entirely up to you, and you might make each cookie different with the decorations that go on top of it. And that's what I want you to see, the warm-up template I'm going to give you now. That's the cookie cutter that you're going to use to design every warm-up you do, but you can then add the different decorations based on the client and the things that are involved in their main session. So the cookie cutter approach for this is going to be using an acronym called MARS. Now, Mars is a warm planet, it's red hot, so we want to use this as a way of warming our client up, and it's an acronym, so M-A-R and S. Now, this starts by basically mobilizing our client. That's the first point, mobility. Now, mobility means we're going to mobilize the main joints of the body. So these are the big synovial joints of the body, the shoulders, the spine, the hips, and we're just going to do gentle movements that start to mobilize and start to activate the synovial fluid inside that joint. This is really good, especially if your client's been sitting down all day. But it's a great time to be able to give your client 2, 3, 4 different mobility exercises and watch them do that, and really observe as the very first thing you're doing in the session. Are they aching today? Are they feeling okay? Do they struggle with certain movements? Is their coordination or balance poor? And these are key facts that you can actually extract from your client inside that particular session straight away with the very first section, which is mobility. And you can add more mobility exercises. So if your client has rheumatoid arthritis of the hands, you might include more mobility exercises for that particular area, for example. Then we move on to activation, and this is where you're going to activate the weaker muscles that your client has, or if you're not sure which muscles are tight and weak in your client because you've not yet done a squat assessment, then instead you can go through and instead work on the muscles that they're going to be doing in that session, or going to be using in that session. So you might do, say, a couple of squats, or you might do a few press-ups, and these are going to be light body weight exercises that basically start to activate the muscle that needs to be used in that session, or that is a weaker area like a core or glutes, for example, that need to be activated so they can get the most performance in their main session. And inside that activation, you would maybe do 5 to 10 repetitions whereby you're gradually activating and loading that muscle just a little bit. Then, so we're now fully mobilized and we've fully activated our muscles, so the joints and the muscles are ready, but we need to get them warm. So we're going to get our whole body temperature up using the third section, which is R for raise pulse. So we're going to take the RPE of our clients up to about a 5 RPE. So this means that we're about halfway through the RPE scale of 1 to 10. So we're going to gradually get warm. We're not getting really breathless, but it's so warm you could take a jumper off. And we're going to take about 5 minutes to get up to that RPE 4 or 5, and then we can always tail it back down a little bit on that last moment just before they step off the treadmill if we want to. But this could be a treadmill, it could be body weight exercises, it could be anything you like that will start to raise the pulse of that client. So we're going to now get them moving over a course of about 5 minutes. Some clients will need a longer raised pulse, and that's okay. You just elongate the time frame and gradually build up that intensity over a longer period of time. And then we finish off our Mars acronym with S, which is the fourth one, and this is for stretching. Here you might do dynamic or static stretches. Either of these are great, it depends on your client. So static stretches are great if your client's got poor balance or coordination. But dynamic stretches are great because you keep your client warm and you want to cover the entire body on all of your stretches. So then you're ready to go in and do the main session. Now, when you're choosing the types of stretches, mobility, activation, and even the type of raised pulse that you do with your client, you want to make sure that it's relevant to the session they're going to do, but also relevant to the tight and weak muscles your client has, their coordination, their ability, and this is going to help determine which exercises you actually put into this structure. And that's the decoration on that cookie cutter that I was mentioning. So the most important thing here is that you're understanding there is a clear structure that you can use to get the most out of your client session. And in order to do that, all you've got to do is follow the acronym of MARS, M-A-R-S, that's mobility, activate, raise pulse, and then stretch, and then they move into their main session from there. Now, if you want to know more about warm-ups, cool-downs, or even the main component and how to plan these effectively for your client, then check out the link that is with this video to find out more about our Fit Progressions program. Now, this is going to give you everything you need to know, especially if you're working towards your level 3 PT case study, or you just want to be more proficient and more confident in planning. And this online program basically gives you all of the knowledge and information to be able to understand how to get a result with a client, but also to build your knowledge and confidence around planning. So if you want to find out more about that, click the links that's with this video and then go on through and check out the 3 mock questions that will test your knowledge. And outside of that, make sure that you have already clicked the link to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.